and industry. And I hope you've been pacing yourself. Justice for all, access to quality education, modern infrastructure, agriculture, and now we are at innovation and industry. It's important for us to transform our economy, create new sectors, modernize traditional ones, and ensure that Jamaicans like Yinga, like Jody and Pantry, who have creative impetus and talent, have the opportunity to access resources and global markets. So I invite, in this section, we will have two speakers actually, but I will invite first the Member of Parliament for Western St. Andrew to share the vision we have for innovation and industry. Please welcome Mr. George Anthony Hilton.
All protocols observed, and I want to especially recognize our next Prime Minister, Mark Jefferson Golding. From 2012 to 2016, the last PNP administration introduced to Jamaica in a fundamental way the concept of logistics as a functional area of the economy, and a logistic hub as a strategy for economic growth. The next PNP administration will be making more complex and to point out the connection between the supply chain and the value chain, and to drive industry in the process. So I'll be focusing on innovation and industry. So ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that you're standing at a crossroads. Behind you lies a path we have walked for 63 years, a path paved with bauxite dust and tourist footprints on the sands of our seashores. Ahead of you stretches a new highway, one that we must build together. The question isn't whether change is coming to Jamaica. The question is, will we lead that change, or will we be swept along by it? The only certainty in today's world is uncertainty. Global disruptions have become our new normal. But here's what I know about us Jamaicans. We don't just survive disruption. We dance with it. We turn crisis into creativity, challenges into championships. Let's be honest with ourselves. Our bauxite reserves won't last forever. Tourism, as wonderful as it is, leaves us vulnerable to every hurricane, every global pandemic, every economic shock that comes our way. And our over-reliance on remittances, now under significant threat, has undermined economic resilience and stifled domestic productivity, leaving a nation vulnerable and limiting long-term development. We've built our house on shifting sands, and it's time to pour a new foundation. But here's the beautiful thing about this moment. With every disruption comes an opportunity for reinvention. Think about it. The same digital revolution that threatens traditional industries is the same force that can connect a young programmer in Spanish Town to clients in Silicon Valley. The same climate change that challenges our agricultural sector can drive us towards becoming the Caribbean's first truly green economy. This is why we must embrace the PNP's initiative, Jamaica 4.0. Jamaica 4.0 is not a slogan, but a movement and a whole-of-nation approach. Jamaica 4.0 means building a knowledge-based economy where a brilliant mind in Mandeville is just as valuable as one in Manhattan. It means creating tech innovation zones in Montego Bay, Kingston, Mandeville, and Port Antonio. It means creating industrial parks in St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Trelawney, and St. Mary. Places where our young people don't have to leave home to change the world. Picture this as well. Jamaican farmers using AI, as was just said, to predict weather patterns and optimize crop yields. Or musicians, not just creating the sounds of the world, the soundtrack of the world, but owning the digital platforms that distribute it. Or manufacturers, not just assembling products, but designing them with smart technology that makes Made in Jamaica a mark of innovation, not just pride. Recently, I met a young woman, let's call her Keisha, who created an app that helps small farmers connect directly with restaurants in Kingston. She didn't need $1 million loan or a foreign partner. She needed what Jamaica 4.0 will provide: reliable internet, access to training, and a government that says yes instead of wait. But transformation is not magic. It's policy, it's methods, it's processes, it's strategy. It's all of us working together. We will modernize our existing trade agreements and widen our market access and reduce trade friction and boost Jamaica's competitiveness. We will develop our modern industrial strategy to help us seize the most significant opportunities and create the most favorable conditions in key sectors for the companies of the future to emerge here in Jamaica. A PNP government will revamp Jamaica's global image, damaged over the past 9 years. To promote Made in Jamaica as a badge of quality and reliability, and launch an aggressive country branding and investment promotion campaign. Logistics is the lifeblood of modern commerce, and Jamaica is uniquely positioned to be its beating heart in the Americas. We will build logistics hubs that position Jamaica as the gateway between the Americas and the world. We will create over 100,000 direct jobs and 400,000 indirect jobs, not in 5 decades, but in the next decade, anchored in a bold SEZ infrastructure strategy. We will modernize agriculture, as was just discussed, so our farmers don't just grow food, they grow opportunity, wealth, and food security for all. We will establish a National Logistics and Supply Chain Council and National Innovation and a National Innovation Fund, because every breakthrough starts without someone who dares to dream differently. Let me say it clearly, because every breakthrough starts with someone who dares to dream differently. We will reform our education and workforce development systems, because you can't build a 21st century economy with 20th century skills. This is our moment. This is our choice. This is our Jamaica 4.0. We won't just extract, we'll create. We won't just survive, we'll thrive. We won't just participate in the global economy, we'll help to shape it. 63 years ago, our parents and grandparents chose independence. Today, we must choose innovation. They chose to govern themselves correctly, I may add. We must choose to grow ourselves. They dreamed of a free Jamaica. We must build a sustainable economy with inclusive growth and opportunity for all. Jamaica 4.0 isn't just our economic plan. It is our promise to every child who dreams of building something great without leaving home. It's our commitment to every entrepreneur who sees opportunity where others see obstacles. It's our covenant with generation yet unborn. Ladies and gentlemen, the era of extraction is ending. The age of innovation has begun. And it starts with us, here, today. Welcome to Jamaica 4.0. Let's build our future together. I leave you with the following video presentation, 2 minutes video presentation. The future of Jamaica 4.0, logistics hub implemented. Time come.
The Jamaica 4.0 Growth with Opportunity program breaks new ground. In today's market climate, countries no longer compete on products or services alone, but on their contribution to the global value chain. Goods and services are no longer produced in a single location. They are assembled and delivered across a network of territories, each adding value to the final product. This global value chain is driven by opportunity. Jamaica's government must therefore create an internationally competitive business environment to join and thrive in this chain. Policy decisions directly influence foreign direct investment and, by extension, impact both local and international investor confidence, especially among multinational corporations. The next step is for Jamaica's policies to evolve, from concepts and studies to execution platforms, from incentive-driven frameworks to innovation hubs, making significant value-added contributions to the global value chain. Only then can Jamaica become a catalyst for a new kind of business environment that delivers widespread local prosperity. Through its Jamaica 4.0, Growth with Opportunity, Jamaica will harness global economic dynamics to fuel domestic growth. And that is only the beginning. The 4 pillars of the program, best-in-class trade agreements, a forward-thinking industrial strategy, a bold investment promotion plan, and a global logistics initiative will form the foundation for a globally competitive economy. These tried and tested pillars, with tangible results across multiple industries, will define a roadmap for the program until 2030 and beyond. Beyond incentives, beyond growth, this will shape a global ecosystem where Jamaica becomes the gateway interconnecting the Americas to the world, building a new global trade order defined by connectivity, resilience, and opportunity.
And now I have the privilege of introducing our young, vibrant candidate, Miss Danishka Williams, Southwest St. Anne, to address culture and the creative industries.
Good evening. Let me also observe all protocols, but a very special good evening to our next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Comrade Mark Golding. Jamaica's cultural identity is one of our greatest treasures and one of our most valuable assets globally. From the pounding heartbeat of reggae and dancehall that moves people from here in Kingston to Tokyo in Japan, to the bold colors and textures of our fashion, from theater that brings stories to life, to dance floors that unite strangers in joy, from the wisdom of our storytellers and the brilliance of our designers, our culture carries the spirit, the voice, and the vision of our Jamaican people. Culture and the creative industry can no longer be viewed as just a matter of pride. Culture and the creative industry has to be viewed as an area of opportunity to help our Jamaican people thrive. The global creative economy is valued at more than $3 trillion US. Yet we know that in Jamaica, with our passion, our unmatched talent, and our originality, our Jamaican people deserve better. They deserve more. Time come for us to put our creatives first and ensure that the work that they put in are put on the global stage so that they can also thrive. Because as Bob Marley has done, we know there are many other creatives in Jamaica that can do the same and more. The People's National Party believes that culture and the creative sector are not just about entertainment and artistic expression. It is a serious driver of economic growth, of job creation, and innovation. It is a vehicle for community transformation, and it is a pathway for our young people to turn their dreams into reality and into viable careers. Today we say, time come to invest in our people, to protect their work and to build the infrastructure that will take Jamaican culture further than ever before. Our approach is clear, our vision is bold, and our commitment to our people remains unwavering. First, we will invest in the creative industry like never before, establishing a $1 billion creative economy fund designed to support business development, content creation, training, and community-based arts. We will create a creative industry park and music heritage museum in none other than Trenchtown, honoring our icons while nurturing the next generation of talent. And across the island, from Portland to St. Anne to Westmoreland, we are improving small studios, creative hubs, and community venues, so no corner in Jamaica is left out of this creative movement. And secondly, as one of the youngest candidates here, we are proud to say that we will also be investing in our young people, placing special focus on youth employment and capacity building. We will open doors for our young people through internship and mentorship in every creative field. We will retool the Creative Production and Training Center, the Media Technology Institute, with cutting-edge training in film, animation, in music, and audiovisual production. And from early childhood classrooms to adult learning centers, we are prepared to expand the cultural curriculum. Because creativity is not just an inborn gift. We know it must be nurtured at every stage of life. The third thing we will do is strengthen business development and regulation for creatives. Through Jamaica Creative, Through Jamaica Creatives, we will help artists and innovators become investment ready and market their work globally. We will introduce a national business certification program for creatives, revise outdated trade policies, create special entertainment zones that are properly planned with community input. And I've identified one in my constituency, and I know my colleagues have done the same. And we will simplify entertainment licensing through a single national system. Fourth, we will ensure policy reform and institutional strengthening. We will reinstate and empower the National Cultural and Creative Industry Commission, streamline government agencies to remove duplication. And if you're in the industry, you know how important that is. And ensure that public funds for creative projects are spent transparently and fairly. Let me go again. We will ensure that public funds for the creative projects are spent transparently and fairly. We will repatriate important Jamaican artifacts held overseas and modernize our museums and galleries. And yes, we will bring back the cultural passport program so our young people can put the devices down and experience the richness of our Jamaican culture firsthand. We have a plan to bring culture and tourism together, finally, in a way that benefits our communities. We will work hand in hand with the Ministry of Tourism to reinstate and promote community festivals to ensure that Jamaican culture is at the center of our tourism identity. So when my tourists are going to Bob Marley in 9 Mile, they can stop in Alexandria and enjoy some opportunities and some good fun with my constituents. And finally, we will give national recognition to 2 giants of Jamaican culture. We will confer the honor of National Hero on the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley, who, might I add, is from my constituency, and the Honorable Louise Bennett Coverley, in recognition of their enduring legacies and the way they carried Jamaica to the world with dignity, authenticity, and brilliance. Ladies and gentlemen, the People's National Party understands this simple truth. Culture is not a side note. It's not a side hustle. Culture is the heart of our story as Jamaicans. It is the very heartbeat of this nation. When we invest in our creatives, we are investing in Jamaica's future. When we protect our cultural heritage, we are strengthening our identity. And when we take our talent to the world, we are claiming our rightful place in the global economy. So let us build a Jamaica where our creative people thrive, our culture shines, and our economy grows. Time come for the creative economy to take center stage. Time come for Jamaica to lead the world, not just in rhythm, but in revenue, in recognition, and in respect. Jamaica, time come for our creatives. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could not have said it better to round out that conversation on innovation and industry. Culture is not a side note, it's not a side hustle. It is truly the soul of our nation. Give it up one more time for our two representatives this evening, exploring what innovation and industry will look like under a PNP government, MP Anthony Hilton and MP to be Danishka Williams. Now, our next speaker and presenter is no stranger to those of us who walk the hallowed halls of TikTok daily. He is known for creating some of the most engaging pieces of content that humor us, but also call us to think deeply about the things we might overlook or take for granted. Now, one of the things I've learned is that it takes a sharp, witty mind and a wise soul to give a good joke. So fun and joke aside, our next speaker is a serious leader, and he is deeply committed to not just reforming and tinkering and fiddling with our healthcare sector, but transforming it entirely, prioritizing a patient-first approach to how we treat with our vulnerable populations, and not just centering on healing the sick, but a focus on prevention and wholesome wellness. Please join me in welcoming our speaker to explore our next pillar on Mission Jamaica Love, care for the vulnerable and health services, Dr. Alfred Dawes, the next Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine.
All protocols observed. A special greeting to the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. Comrades and Jamaicans here and online, good evening. I am not here tonight to sell a manifesto. I'm here tonight to invite you on a journey. It is a journey of creating a world-class healthcare sector. It is a journey towards good healthcare with dignity, where you are treated like and feel like Smaddy Pickney. It is a journey to reform healthcare, because for too long we have been kicking the reform can down the road, and now we are at the end of that road. We are reforming healthcare to meet the needs of the people, not what looks good with optics and marketing. The people have suffered long enough. They have cried too often. Billions spent with lives not saved, but friends enriched. The People's National Party will not boast of the money that is spent. It will boast of the lives saved. And I am not just here because you can read the manifesto. I am going to say the team that is going to implement these policies care deeply about the health of the nation, led by a prime minister with medicine in his DNA. 3 generations of excellent doctors, with Sir John Golding planting the seeds that has allowed him to select a team that is going to go far beyond what Sir John himself did. I have been the doctor who decides who gets a bed and who gets to sit in a chair for days because there are no more beds. I have been the doctor who decides who gets oxygen because oxygen is low. I have been a part of the medical team that has decided who gets to go into ICU for that one available bed and who has to die. And that is not a responsibility that you would want to wish on your worst enemy, but it is a responsibility that is faced every day by our healthcare workers. You don't want to be those healthcare workers, and worse, you do not want to be that patient or relative. Billions wasted, millionaires created. Even as more mothers die during childbirth than 30 years ago, more babies are dying than 10 years ago, than 20 years ago. More Jamaicans now are suffering under this healthcare sector. And the tears of the grieving relatives for those who have passed demand change. It is not through infrastructural projects, not an ivory tower at the University Hospital of the West Indies, when so many clinics and hospitals lack staff and basic equipment to care for those who come to their doors. The needs of the patients and the staff need to be addressed and not the needs of the politician. It cannot be that policies are guided by ribbon cutting over service. Nothing short of comprehensive reform of the entire healthcare sector is acceptable. The regional health authorities, over 20 years now, we know that there is needed some level of reform, and we will make those painful reforms. We will change administrative functions. We will fix the wastage of money. We will drill down on the procurement issues that are facing the Ministry of Health. There will be a comprehensive review of how we fund the Ministry of Health and a comprehensive review of how we spend the dollars in the Ministry of Health. And above all, we will have care with dignity. And this means that you will have care with dignity from the womb to the tomb. The political will is here tonight, Jamaica. I feel it in the room. It can be done. It will be done. So I invite you, Jamaica, to journey with the PNP as we reduce waiting times for surgeries in A&E departments, in clinics, where we move patients out of chairs into beds, where we save mothers from dying in labor with improved antenatal care rather than blaming the mothers. We will end the lies that a dead baby a day at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital is due to prematurity by building a proper neonatal ICU at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, for ensuring that timely surgeries and interventions are done at Bustamante, the largest pediatric hospital in the English-speaking Caribbean, by having a proper CT scan and MRI for the first time, instead of having those children and babies carted over in the cold air to KPH. It is a pledge, it is a promise, it will be done. Join us on a journey towards improved emergency services with proper ambulances, where we will allow patriotic Jamaicans, families, businesses to adopt an ambulance and take care of the maintenance, so that ambulance will always be on the road and available in the case of an emergency. Join us as we improve radiology, where every parish hospital will have a CT scan, where we will improve dialysis so you don't have to cut the costs and allow yourself to be poisoned a little bit more, rather than get the treatment you deserve if you have kidney failure. Join us on a journey towards dignity, where you no longer have to go on Facebook and beg for blood donations. Join us for a health service where we work towards seeing a grandmother with a hip fracture, getting her surgery done because the implants are there, rather than waiting 3 months to come up with the money to buy those implants. They will have their surgery and be home in 2 days. We are on a journey to create a primary care sector system, where if you can't afford to go to the clinics will come to you with home visits through community health aides, where you will be screened, and we will manage the diabetes better, we will manage the hypertension better, so that we will have less strokes, less amputations. Today, a leg was cut off. Every day, a leg is lost in Jamaica, likely due to diabetes, entirely preventative. Join us as we journey towards cancers screened and cured with less lives lost. And this part is particularly emotional for me, because 3 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with colon cancer, and I've told this story before with her permission. And guilt-racked, I made a pact with God that should her cancer go and she'd not get that dreaded surgery where she would need the bag on her side permanently, I would do everything in my power, wherever I am planted, to improve cancer care in Jamaica. And yesterday, after her follow-up colonoscopy 3 years later, she continues to be cancer-free. Without any surgery, it disappeared from stage 3 to stage 0. And it reminds me that the pledge I made 3 years ago is not for her, but for those who could not afford the Tony Thwaites bill, who cannot afford a private doctor, those who can't call a friend and say, get a colonoscopy done. They have to wait 2 years. And during that time, the cancer grows where it is incurable. It is the reality that is facing a lot of Jamaicans, and one that I have vowed to help to put an end to that misery. And I am asking to join me on that journey, to join the People's National Party on that journey, to reduce the suffering of Jamaicans by providing the healthcare sector that I know we can create. We only have to dream it, because the team is there to do it. A team that has over 400 years of cumulative experience, but they're just waiting for the right prime minister to focus on health. With the right economic conditions where we're not saddled by debt and austerity. I know Jamaicans, that you are hurt, angry, and disappointed with the healthcare sector. But it is that same hurt, anger, and disappointment that gives us all hope. Because now you are demanding, for the first time since universal adult suffrage, that health be a priority in a general election. And with this awesome responsibility of who forms the next government hanging over both parties' heads, it is for Jamaicans to choose the team who they believe cares more about their health rather than the gimmickry and the ribbon cutting. I know Jamaicans on September 3 going to the polls will make healthcare one of the reasons why they vote for the People's National Party to enact the reforms that we need. Our parents, grandparents who have gone before us, they demand it. Our children, the next generation, require it of us. We have an excellent opportunity now to fix healthcare for generations to come. Let us not waste it. Let us do the right thing. Thank you.
The man for the mission and the moment, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it for yourselves from Dr. Alfred Dawes. For us, as a People's National Party, health is more than just hospitals and medication. It's about the human being, or Jamaican brothers and sisters, mind, body, and spirit, supporting them through wellness and long, healthy lives. One more time for Dr. Dawes. Now, before we move to our next pillar, I want to take a moment to reflect on the values that have to guide us as leaders and citizens. At the heart of good governance is integrity, a commitment to serve with honesty, fairness, and respect for every Jamaican. These are not just political ideals, but they are promises that we're making to our country, a pledge, if you will. And one of our clearest expressions of that promise is actually found in the Jamaican National Pledge. Now, if you watched the Grand Gala through and through, you may have seen a disruptive advertisement with our next Prime Minister at the center, reciting same. As a reminder to keep ourselves accountable to the people that we serve, I invite you to stand as we cue up the playing of our Jamaican National Pledge.
God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice.
Next pillar, the final A in Jamaica, as we explore Mission Jamaica Love, accountability in governance. Please welcome a man most suited to speak to accountability in governance, or president of the People's National Party and leader of the opposition, a man who has led with integrity and vision, Mark Jefferson Golding.
Thank you very much, Christelle. Jamaica's democratic journey began with the fight for the right to vote and then self-government. Today, we must go further. Democracy is not only about casting a vote. It's about giving citizens an authentic voice in the decisions that affect their lives. The People's National Party is committed to participatory democracy, where governance is transparent, inclusive, and accountable. We will modernize our public institutions, return power to communities, and rebuild trust in government by creating a system that delivers for the people. Now, earlier you heard some constitutional aspects of this in the introduction of a procedure for impeachment, for recall, for the opposition chairing the committees in Parliament, and I would add unexplained wealth orders. Further to all of those, we must restore and will restore the Office of the Political Ombudsman as an independent watchdog, separate from the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. We must ensure the independence and effectiveness of the Integrity Commission to enable it to pursue its statutory mandate without fear or favor, including desirable improvements such as the modification of the so-called gag clause to achieve a workable balance between protecting legitimate reputational rights and ensuring timely disclosure in the public interest. I've said in the coming elections, there will be candidates who are under investigation for illicit enrichment, and the voters will not know who they are other than one. We will strengthen the oversight committees in Parliament, including by enacting mechanisms that facilitate the participation of civil society and other non-state actors in the work of those oversight committees. We must broaden the democracy in this country and include more people in the process of government. We will modernize the Access to Information Act, which was introduced by the People's National Party and which needs further reform, including to implement simpler processes, shorter timelines, and a broader scope to facilitate the flow of information to the public. We will modernize the legal framework for obtaining permits and licenses to ensure efficiency, fairness, and transparency. We will increase the monetary jurisdiction of the parish courts so more Jamaicans can have access to justice that is affordable and closer to home. And I would remind that the emergence of the parish courts took place when I was Minister of Justice, when we modernized the system from resident magistrate court to the parish court system. And we will hold public dialogue on the National Sex Offender Registry to ensure a balance between public safety and rehabilitation of offenders because the society is calling for that. In local government, we will build on the constitutional amendment enacted in 2015 that guarantees a local system of democratic governance. We will review the 3 strategic laws that we passed under Portia Simpson Miller: the Local Governance Act, the Local Government Financing and Financial Management Act, and the Local Government Unified Service and Employment Act, with a view to making necessary adjustments followed by full enforcement of their provisions, which has not happened yet. We will empower the parish development committees and community development committees to create local plans. We will shift focus from constituency politics to community development by expanding the powers of our municipal corporations to make a difference in local people's lives. And we will establish a national People's Assembly, including diaspora representatives, to review laws and shape policy impacting local communities. We will introduce participatory budgeting and local planning, where citizens help to decide the spending priorities, which is contemplated by the 3 strategic laws. And we will create stronger accountability measures for local government, linking funding to measurable performance. Jamaica is demanding broader inclusion alongside greater accountability and integrity in public affairs. And the People's National Party, under my leadership, will deliver on that broad call. Thank you very much.
Now, I don't think you're going to hear from Yinga for the rest of the night, all right? So you need to clap her big and loud and tell her thank you, and we love you, and we feel blessed to be entertained by magnificent talent such as yours. Thank you very much, Yinga, and of course, Jody and Pantry, who soothed us with soulful sounds earlier in our program. Now, we've entered the final segment of this evening's Mission Jamaica Love presentation. So we've explored the acronym Jamaica, and we've now entered the love zone. Everybody ready for a little love? I hope so. Our next pillar begins with the letter L, and it signifies land, housing, and ownership. And I'm going to invite the members of our final conversation to the stage. That will be our panel discussion. So we're really at the last part of George, as we would say. So I'm inviting to join me on stage and to share with you this evening on a topic that is very close to home for all Jamaicans, because that dream to have a piece of the rock that you can call home and call your own is a national desire. The security that comes from home ownership is unparalleled. And this pillar is really about turning the dream of owning a home into reality for thousands of families across the country. So to speak to this, we are joined by someone who understands the importance of land and housing as not just something for the privileged few, but as a right for all. He has been a strong advocate for the fairness of land distribution and for housing policies that give ordinary Jamaicans the chance to own and build. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Member of Parliament for South West Clarendon, Lothan Cousins.
My fellow Jamaicans, comrades all, members of the diplomatic corps, and party leader, Mark Jefferson Golding, next Prime Minister of Jamaica. And with the announcement of the general elections, which is due, I think it's September 3rd, we are no longer an opposition party. We are a government in waiting. We are also not a party of hype. We are a party of substance. And the substance is clearly outlined in the manifesto that is presented today. What we are presenting are workable solutions that is going to impact thousands of lives over the next 5 years. Hope is a bridge between today and tomorrow. Land and housing represents that bridge. It represents that hope. Thousands of Jamaicans over centuries have been disenfranchised. A system was created to deliberately deprive thousands of Jamaicans of land ownership. Our founding father, the Right Excellent Norman Washington Manley, recognized that. He championed the cause. And with this current PNP administration that is incoming, led by Mark Jefferson Golding, we are going to finally have the issue of landlessness, and the lack of land ownership finally put to rest. When I closed my presentation in Parliament, I closed with the words of Norman Manley, and I'll begin there. Land represents justice. Housing represents dignity. Together, they provide housing, shelter, they provide food. It is the core of who we are as a people. And it is fitting that when we say Jamaica love, everybody knows Jamaica love land, and Jamaicans love land. There is no secret there. 700,000 Jamaicans are currently living in squatter settlements on Crown lands. We intend, as a government, to settle that issue once and for all. And when they say we do not have any policies, even those on the other side know exactly the plans that we have for land. They know it. They have listened to it. They have been repeating it. And they know that we can do it and that we will do it. We will reduce the number of years for those who are living on squatter land from 60 to 25 years. That is for those living on Crown lands. The law originated in England. England has reduced that to 10 years. It therefore makes no sense as a country for us to have that law which was in place, that was designed to deliberately keep land ownership away from our people, in place in the next PNP administration. We will ensure that as soon as practicably possible, the legislation will come to Parliament and that law will be amended forthwith. We all have sat down as a people and we have seen what has happened with the National Housing Trust. It is a crying shame. But we are not here to complain. We are here to provide solutions. And that is what this manifesto is about. So we are going to immediately end the extraction of the $11 billion every single year from the National Housing Trust. We are going to restore the National Housing Trust to its core mandate. All of you in Jamaica and across the world would have heard about our Rent to Own initiative. It is a bold, forward-thinking initiative that will allow thousands of Jamaicans who cannot afford a home to start out by renting that home. And after 6 months, after you have demonstrated that you're able to cover the rental expenses, that will be converted to a mortgage, and you will now be paying a mortgage monthly and be owning that piece of land that you're on. For the young home owners, we have said it before, every single year we are going to make $1 billion available so that you can get not a loan, a $500,000 grant for those who are up to 45 years of age. That will help you to cover the expenses to purchase that property. It is trite, it is settled that we have been advocating these policies. And we need to remind the Jamaican people that is us, this government in waiting, that is going to implement these policies and create a better life for all Jamaicans. You know, it is this government who some time ago, a few years ago, when civil servants used to benefit from a special arrangement at the NHT, where they pay a reduced amount for the mortgage every month, that took that right away from the police officers, the teachers, the nurses, and all civil servants. We are going to restore that arrangement. That 3% you're paying now on your mortgage is going to go back to 1% as it was when the PNP was in power. These civil servants go out every day. They sacrifice their lives for us. It is only right that we do what is right and ensure that they can own a piece of this rock. This PNP government in waiting is going to provide also special arrangements for persons with disabilities. So the same arrangement as it relates to the civil servants will also apply for those persons who have disabilities, so they can benefit from a reduced mortgage payment and they'll be able to also own a home. We will grant public sector workers a 3-month grace period so that when you have purchased that home, you will have to wait 3 months before you pay your first mortgage payment. That will give you the opportunity to do a little modifications to the house, make the house as comfortable as possible. Because we intend to construct 50,000 starter homes in the next 5 years. And with these starter homes, you will need the extra cash. So, we believe that housing is a right as a party. We are committed to the cause. You have a decision to make on the 3rd of September. Take a look at the manifesto. Listen to the policies and the plans of the People's National Party. The decision is clear. Time come. Time come for a better Jamaica. And time has come for the People's National Party to be restored to its rightful place as the governing party for Jamaica. The word is love.
Jamaica. I entered politics at a time when women were few in the arena. We faced significant opposition, but we did not retreat. Today, 22 PNP women are stepping forward. They are lawyers, they are teachers, entrepreneurs, leaders. They have worked in their communities. They have stood in courtrooms. They have built businesses, mentored youth, and raised families. 22 PNP women united, unshaken, unafraid. Jamaica, time come.
Twenty-two of our candidates are women candidates heading into the next general election. I am sure the president of the women's movement, Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland, is happy with those statistics, yes? And of course, it could not be possible without resolve and support at the leadership level of the party. And so, of course, credit must go to our president of the PNP and the Prime Minister in waiting, Mr. Mark Golding, and of course, our General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell. So we're moving into our final panel and conversation this evening, and we're looking at what it takes when we talk about love, what it takes to create a society that is safe, secure, and sustainable for all Jamaicans. And we have joining us 3 senators. So we'll begin to the left with Senator Gabriela Morris, who is coming to us also as a candidate in the next general election. In fact, 2 of our senators here today are going to be running in the elections. And we also have Senator Peter Bunting and Senator Sophia Fraser-Binns. So I'll start with Gabriela. What do young people need, or what will a future PNP government do to make sure that Jamaica is where our young people want to live, because they are guaranteed a better life here and not somewhere else in the world?
Thank you, Crystal, and let me say good evening to everyone, especially our next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Comrade Mark Jefferson Golding. Crystal, I think we have to start off by acknowledging that our youth are not just the future, but they are the here and now. And the PNP acknowledges that our young people are facing significant challenges when it comes to access to opportunities. When we look at affordable housing, access to housing, when we look at educational outcomes, we recognize that our young people are indeed bearing much of the burden in this country. And so as a government, the PNP is committed to putting young people at the fore. The party has already started, and I believe that we must commend our leader for giving young people a platform to share in decision-making, to share in policy development. And the Junior Shadow Cabinet, which we established, I think is evidence of that. We have taken an approach as a party that focuses on 4 key areas of youth development, education and training being the first. And one of the things we're committed to doing is reforming our curriculum in this country, because we know that we have to prepare young people for the world ahead and for the jobs that will take precedence in the modern world. And so the PNP will be focusing on reforming the curriculum to include subjects such as climate science, looking at artificial intelligence, because we believe that we must equip our young people with these skills so they can compete not just locally, but internationally. One of the things that we have also looked at and committed to doing is the reforming of heart. We want to ensure that in every parish, we have institutions that are geared to providing the skills that our young people need. And so we will be expanding the capacity of heart to offer more training programs to our young people. Another area of focus that falls under our education sector is that we want to look at digital literacy, because we know that we are in a technological age, and our young people, in competing and being equipped, we must train them with those skills. And so we will be focusing on a national digital literacy program, which will cater to 25,000 young people, and we aim to reach that target by 2029. We're also looking at a critical area of focus, which is job creation, entrepreneurship. And we recognize that there has been much buzz about record low rates. But one of the challenges that persist, especially for young people, is that while jobs might be available, these jobs are highly unstable and they also offer low wages. Our young people don't want to stay in a country where they have to be fighting to survive, fighting to make ends meet. And so one of the things that we are committed to doing as the next government is focusing on our entrepreneurs, because we want to encourage young people to not just be consumers, but producers, to create, to build, to develop. And so we will be implementing a national youth innovative fund, which will offer $1 billion and will be replenished annually. And that will focusing on supporting our young people who want to build businesses, who want to have startups, who are focusing especially on areas of technology, the creative industry. And we believe that this is a transformational program that will empower young people to build something for themselves. In terms of job creation as well, we are committed to providing 20,000 new jobs, especially in the area of tourism. We're looking at agriculture as well as the creative industry. And I want to move, Crystal, to the third pillar, which we have discussed earlier. It focuses on creative expression, culture, and sport. We know that our young people are incredibly gifted. Incredibly gifted. However, they need the support to develop their craft, to market their craft, and to earn from their craft. And so one of the things that we will do, in addition to our $1 billion creative fund, is set up a fund that will be used to build industry hubs and will be used to have creative spaces where persons can produce content and also earn from content. Another thing that we believe is critical to developing our youth is the development of spaces for them to meet. And so we know that in a lot of communities, while they're community centers, a lot of them have been locked up, they're engulfed by weeds. And so we want to revitalize our communities for our young people. And so the People's National Party is committed to building 200 community centers across this island. So I know from my constituency of Northwest St. Anne, the people will be excited. And indeed, for other constituencies, both urban and rural, they will be looking forward to an initiative like this, because we know that our young people need these spaces as well for community engagement, for sport, for homework helper centers. And that is our promise to the Jamaican people, that our young people will have spaces to grow, learn, thrive, and to entertain themselves as well. I want to go to the final point, Crystal, which focuses on an area that we sometimes don't place enough emphasis on. It is mental health care and protection of our people. And I want to commend the party for listening, because I remember about 3 years ago, we had a forum at the University of the West Indies. And this is one of the areas that young people constantly advocated for us to pay more attention to. And so we, as the People's Party, we have ensured that we have included this incredible need for support in our manifesto, and we will be prioritizing support for not just youth, but our people who need mental health care and support. Another thing that we want to focus on when it comes to our youth and the care of our youth as well is looking at initiatives that will prioritize at-risk youth. And we want to ensure that we have at least 20 centers that will be identified as spaces for intervention when it comes to at-risk youth. This is our commitment to ensure that our young people are engaged, are given alternatives, and are not led down the wrong path. So we are giving them a chance at transformation, and this is what the PNP has to offer. The final thing that I want to mention, and I know that it will go into what Senator Bunting will talk about, it has to do with the Peace Management Initiative. We hope and we are committed to ensuring that we expand the Peace Management Initiative to focus on our young people and to give them opportunities for mentorship and development and guidance that will deter them from any possibility of entering a life of crime. So, Crystal, I just want to close by saying that young people are not just a voting bloc when it comes to election time. We are real people who have real challenges. And I am happy to be a part of a party who recognizes that in order to build our future, we need to empower our young people. We need to support our young people so that they can truly see Jamaica as a place where they can really work, live, raise families, and do business. And that is our commitment.
Thank you so much, Senator Gabriella Morris. If that is not a credible and diverse suite of solutions for the myriad issues that young people face, I don't know what is. And it is testament to the fact that when the PNP brings young people to the front, we bring them bright, aware, and ready to lead. Northwest St. Anne has a true champion on their side. A lovely point to segue now into hearing about what it will take to secure the nation. We know from the statistics that those most involved in and harmed by violent crime are our young people. So, Senator, you can take it from any angle, but we do want to hear how we will better secure Jamaica, but not just our young people, but Jamaicans at large.
Thank you. There's a fundamental difference in the approach of the People's National Party to the existing administration. If I were to characterize the difference, I would say it's the militarization or the warrior mentality of the security forces that this government promotes versus the guardian mentality that the PNP promotes. So with a warrior mentality, our security forces go out to fight crime and enforce the law. With a guardian mentality, our security forces go out every day to uphold the human rights of our citizens. So we don't look on young people as just as potential recruits to gangs, and if they go off the rails, then we need to come down on them hard, longer prison sentences, etc. We want to give them opportunities that will divert them away from a life of crime. And most of my colleagues have given a shout out to the next Prime Minister. But I want to give a shout out to the former Minister of Justice, Mark Jefferson Golding, because he made some transformative laws. Actually, they were more about social engineering than fighting crime. For example, the decriminalization of ganja for personal use, and the automatic expungement of previous criminal records. That moved tens of thousands of young Jamaican, mostly men, from the margins of the economy and allow them now to get farm work card, to get visa, to be able to work in many financial institutions, etc. So our approach is not all about fighting crime, as important as that is. But in terms of sustainability, we're more interested in crime prevention, creating opportunities for our young people, investing in our communities, building our schools, ensuring that there are employment and training opportunities that are as attractive or more attractive than a life of crime. So this is really the fundamental difference in our approaches. And when you talk about the future, it can't be about a police force that's primarily into militarization and occupying force in our communities. We want safe communities, but we want them built on a foundation of trust between the citizens and the security forces. They will be partners in building Jamaica in terms of our human development, in terms of our infrastructure development, and in terms of the social transformation of many of these communities which are generating most of the violent crime today.
Thank you very much, Senator Bunting. And now we are inviting Senator Fraser Binns to join the conversation. We're talking a lot about the future being with young people. But what will be the future of the world that they live in? We face severe degradation of natural resources. We're looking at unsustainable practices locally but also globally that affect the quality of life here on earth for all of us. And as a small island developing state, Jamaica has to look critically at how we are managing our own natural resources, which will end up being inheritances for those to come. What are some of the big shifts that need to happen at a government level for us locally to preserve, protect, and extend this inheritance?
Thank you so much for that question, Crystal, and good evening, everyone. And let me say good evening to our incoming Prime Minister, and also to applaud him, because the issue of the environment is really not something that you hear people talk about every day. But under the leadership of Mark Jefferson Golding, the environment has taken center place, because he recognizes that we cannot have a conversation about education if our schools are hot, the children can't learn. He understands that Comrade Dawes can't talk about health if we do not understand how climate change affects health. He understands that Mikhail can't want a good transport system if we don't understand how climate change will impact our roads. And Julian cannot speak about a stable economy until we understand how climate change and the destruction of the environment impacts the economy. And so for us in the People's National Party, we believe that we can have the development of the economy and the preservation of the environment. And to that extent, we also know that there are certain things that must be led by the government, starting with how we as government will operate. And because of that, we are committed to ensuring that every single ministry, agency, and department has what we call an environment impact assessment on any project that we're going to undertake. Too often we see government agencies going out and cutting down trees and building roads, destroying our mangroves without considering the environmental impact that it will have. Under Mark Golding-led administration, this is going to be a thing of the past because we will have the environment impact. But we also have to understand that we can't police ourselves. So we have to take a laser look at NEPA, the NEPA and the NRC. And we're committing to reviewing the NRC Act to ensure that NEPA gets the independence it needs to be the watchdog and the protector of the environment. We're also going to ensure that NEPA does not have to appeal to the Minister of Environment. We see the Bengal case where, notwithstanding the decision of NEPA, an appeal was made to the Prime Minister acting as the Minister of Environment, who reversed that decision with over 100 conditions. Under Mark Golden-led administration, there will be an independent appeal tribunal where persons can appeal to independent of the Minister of the Environment. Data, research is important to us, and so we will, through NEPA, ensure that decisions are made through in-depth research, which identifies best practices. One of the things that affects us in Jamaica is that so often persons hear that we did not know that they're going to build in our community. With us, we know that the involvement and the engagement of the citizen is important in decision-making process. And it's for that reason that we are committing to ratify the Escazú Agreement. This agreement really puts power in the hand of citizens. So it says that citizens must have information about developmental projects in their communities. They must have information, they must have the access to information, but not just access to saying here it is, but access in terms of the information should be made available in a form that is easily read and understood. We also believe that under the Escazú Agreement, that the citizens should have a right in the decision-making process. So they must say how they feel about any development project that will be taking place, and access to justice. Too often we hear the outcry of persons who have an environmental issue and it either takes forever to be resolved in our court system. We are committed to implementing the Escazú Agreement so that access to justice in environmental matters will be obtained. For us in the People's National Party, we see the environment as a center around which development is going to take place. And we also understand what it means for the environment. We will also be working with our international partners because we know that Jamaica, as a small island developing state, cannot fight it alone. And that is why when Mark Golden becomes the chairman of CARICOM, he will ensure that CARICOM truly takes its place in the world in terms of negotiation. We will work with our diplomatic partners. We'll ensure that issues of climate justice, loss and damage are brought to the fore. And those are just some of the things that the People's National Party will advance in terms of protecting the environment.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we thank all three senators who have helped us curate, I think, a very interesting final wrap on today's discussion around opportunities for young people, violence prevention, and environmental resilience. As long as you can spell, you can dispel the rumor, the myth, and the lie that we don't have any plans and they don't know what the People's National Party is presenting as a credible option for government. Not only will you be able to spell your way through our Mission Jamaica Love, you will always properly, you will also be able to identify measurable and precise outputs that you can hold us accountable to delivering. Please, a round of applause for all of our speakers, presenters, and panelists this evening that have helped to guide our understanding of Mission Jamaica Love. I now invite for a final bit of soulful investment in our audience today. Please welcome back to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, our songstress, Jodianne Pantry.
Lead us to a place, oh Lord, 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 guide Jamaica with your grace, Lord, to When shadows fill our day, just like every child, please find a place. Guide Jamaica with your grace, Lord, to a place where we'll be safe. Lead Jamaica, lead PNP to a place. Guide your people with your grace to a place where we'll be safe.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of it.
We just can't get enough of Jody and Pantry. Give it up one more time as we say our final thank you and farewell to her. Now, we are wrapping it up. Our final speaker is really just to put the cherry on top this evening. And as you prepare to leave us, I just want to remind you that your bookmark, once you scan the QR code, you're able to download the full manifesto. But in the coming days, we will be presenting to you a summary of some of these ideas, as well as some fresh and new ideas in our Manifesto Lite publication. Remember to download from the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, your Jamaican audio version of the manifesto, and of course, circulate that freely on WhatsApp so other members of the community, local and abroad, can benefit from what you have had access to this evening. And now to bring closing remarks and cap things off for this evening, I welcome back to the stage one who we can only define as prescient. He called it, saw the numbers and called it, and I dare say he's probably already called the final numbers come nighttime on September 3. Prescient and passionate is what I'll say as we welcome back to the stage our General Secretary for the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be presenting, as you've heard before, 2 versions to our manifesto. This detailed version, and we know what our opponents are likely to do. There are government that has been there for 10 days. They're the ones who, 10 years. Did I say 10 days? Or they have almost 10 days and look a bit left. But they knew that an election was due and they were supposed to call it. And yet still, we've gotten to this point and they don't have a manifesto as yet. We know exactly what they will do. We say 50,000 houses, they will say 60,000, even though in the last term they've only built 20. We took our time in opposition to consult with the people. This is the People's Party. We did messaging polls. We did focus group discussions. We involved the delegates at our annual conference. We got feedback from the task force, from the different shadow spokespersons. And we have put together some practical solutions for complex problems that are affecting our country. We've heard from the people. They want to see what they're working for. People want to be able to enjoy life here and don't feel that they have to migrate in order to have a good life. There is a burning desire for people out there that they want a better quality of life. Like Paul Bogle swinging his machete from Stony Gottin, St. Thomas, heading to Spanish Town, better, Moscow. Like Miss Lucky toiling over the dirty laundry, washing them to send her 3 children to school, better, Moscow. Like a higgler in St. Elizabeth, who toils and carries her goods to Kingston to the market to sell so she can afford to send her children to school, better, Moscow. That taxi driver in St. Mary that is working hard, that now can finally own a home through the rent-to-own program, understands that he will bring dignity to his family, better, Moscow. That child in Clarendon up in Crooked River that needs to get down to St. Hilda's and can't go on the whole school buses but needs that subsidy to take them to school, they must understand that better, Moscow. That youngster in Manchester that has done everything that we've asked of them, have passed 10, 11, 12 subjects, but now have to be working in a wholesale or somewhere else. They understand now that they too can go to university and break the intergenerational chain of poverty. Better must come for that family. For that teacher in Portland that is building the next generation, and in her time off want to enjoy the beach but can't enjoy the beaches in this Jamaica, the land of wood and water, they too must know that better must come. I want to say to Jamaica, we cannot have a prime minister that could not get a work in a bank or in the public sector continuing in office. If you're not certified, you can't fast fit and proper, you couldn't get a work in a bank in Jamaica. You couldn't get a work in the public sector. So we want to ensure that Jamaica understand that in the office of Prime Minister, better must come. And so I invite the incoming Prime Minister and the candidates for the People's National Party to stand up and come to the front here in front of the audience. Because regardless of what they have said, we have a team that is led by a leader of integrity. We have experience mixed with youthful exuberance, intellect, diligence, and hard work. We are the team PNP. We believe in the People's National Party. We are PNP not because of what we have received. We are PNP because of what we believe. This is PNP, progress, not promises, as it has been in the beginning and as it will be in the end. The word is love. Jamaica love. God bless you. Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic evening. See you on the campaign trail.
The trumpet has sounded, my countrymen all, so awake from your slumber and answer the call. The torch has been lighted, the dawn is at hand. Who joins in the fight for his own native land? Land of my birth, I pledge to thee, loyal and faithful, true to thee. Oh, the toil will be heavy and the campaign long. The road will be dreary, the body is strong. Our progress may falter and energies wane, but steadfast in spirit, our goal we will gain. Land of my birth, I chance that God will look down and give us his blessing of efforts to crown. Let all be united to build by his grace a nobler Jamaica, a loftier race. Land of my birth, I pledge to thee, loyal and faithful, true to thee.
Go Bucks Choice! Go Bucks Choice!